Hi, I'm Allison.
And I'm Taylor.
And we're the hosts of the Anxiety Chicks podcast, where we dive deep into the reality of anxiety, nutrition, and mental health.
Listen as we explore all things anxiety healing while keeping it real, including our own struggles with mental health.
We'll bring our expertise as healing professionals to the conversation while discussing the tools and strategies you need to heal the anxious mind.
Listen to the Anxiety Chicks on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Anxiety Chicks podcast. I'm Alison Sepinera.
And I'm Taylor.
And we're so excited to be back this week with the New Year Q&A. January Q&A. We got some
2026.
2026. Let's leave the dumpster fire of 2025 in the background, okay? Like, leave it in the past. And let's bring on 2026. I think it's going to be a great year for everybody. I think it's going to be a very healing year. And let's start it by answering some awesome questions we got from some of our healers so far. Do you want to go first? Why don't you go first, Taylor?
Yeah, I think this is a good one to just jump into the new year. How do you reset your nervous system after the chaos of the holidays instead of jumping straight into fix everything mode? If you are on social media right now, you see a lot of people and this happens every year, right? The January, gotta start it off, fix everything, gonna do all these things, not gonna let myself down. However, if you're someone who's a perfectionist, or even if you struggle with any type of OCD, the second you don't do something you made a promise to yourself about, you have this sense of guilt and you feel like you failed and it's over and da 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 da. So for me, January used to feel like this internal pressure cooker every single January. Like, the holidays are over. Now I have to fix everything about myself, my body, my anxiety, my routines, my goals. We have to do it all, right? And every year that mindset honestly sent my nervous system into overdrive and doing the opposite of what I actually wanted to do. So this year I'm doing something completely different. I'm treating January more of like a recovery month from 2025. So not a productivity sprint to the finish line, but more of just my nervous system does not need another plan. It needs rest. It needs to feel safe. It needs a reset. We just got through the holidays. So instead of being like, what do I need to improve? I'm more so like, what does my body need? And for me, it's like, it needs more routine with my sleep, because the holidays, you're doing a lot of different things. Your wake and sleep hours a little different. With the winter, I struggle a little more with getting that daylight in the morning. So doing more of that, even if it's cold, just going and putting my eyes directly into the sunlight. It's fewer commitments this month. This month is kind of just like for me, and that's okay. Saying no more. No dramatic resets or detoxes. I'm not doing any of that. More of just simplifying and not trying to figure out all I need to change to be the best version of myself, and more so just less stimulation, less emotions, less expectations, and giving myself that permission, just permission to be slower. And you have to understand, the holidays is a lot on you. You go from Thanksgiving, if you're in the USA, you go from Thanksgiving to the next thing you celebrate and the next thing you celebrate. And then it's the new year and you're like, what the heck just happened to me? So I think that's the best thing you can do if you're somebody who just feels like, hey, the holidays, all that was a lot. And I just need to give myself permission and my nervous system permission to just be this month. And maybe at the end of January, there's something you want to set a goal for yourself. Goals are amazing. I'm not saying goals aren't amazing, but just being realistic and also recognizing the type of person you are.
Yeah.
So
I love that. Yeah, I would just say all of that. And
are you like that? Like, if you set a goal and say every single day, I'm not going to eat sugar. And then you eat sugar and you're like, I failed it all. I might as well just binge it.
Well, that's so funny. That's what I was just going to say. I love the part you said about, reducing your expectations around setting goals or having, quote unquote resolutions. I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like resolutions are more for me of lifestyle changes. Like
Mhm.
life, like how can I work on bettering myself just in my life? Like
Yes.
what can help me feel more aligned with who I am?
Even just taking
And
inventory, right?
yeah,
Like
exactly.
not making it a definite goal, like, I'm never gonna gossip again, and it's like, you're gonna fail yourself, but making
Right.
it a goal, like not a goal, making it a taking inventory on, like, "Hey, these are the things that I really don't ever feel good about myself when I do, and so I'm gonna make it an intention, and it's okay if you don't do it perfectly."
Yeah. And that's kind of what I've been talking about a lot on the Single Sister Circle, which is my new membership community. Any single women in midlife, I would say over 30, 35. Go to the show notes. Single Sister Circle is in full effect and it's free to join. But I've been talking a lot about how we set intentions for ourselves instead of resolutions, and how even just changing that wording of setting an intention, you can wake up and just set an intention for your day every day. Like you can set a different intention every day. You don't even and it might just be like, okay, today, this is going to be my intention. I want to try and really use today as a day where I'm going to maybe try and stop and breathe a couple times because I know my chest feels heavy. Maybe today I'm going to kind of keep my head up when I walk around and maybe smile at a couple people. Like I just want to kind of set an intention to be a little bit more positive with others, you know? There could be something small just daily where you do that, where it's not necessarily like based on passing or failing, you know? And that is where people get in trouble. And I agree. I just don't think that's good for you. So give yourself a little bit of grace. That would be my
Yes.
answer. Okay. My question is, I've been getting a lot of more like personal stuff, which I love. So I am a single woman, right? I am 45. And so I've been sharing a lot of my dating kind of woes, but also my dating
Allison,
lessons.
you
Yeah.
might not know this. I
What?
was on your lives and I was enjoying them, but you were talking all about the date the night before. I think this was the night before New Year's Eve. Yeah, the night before New
Yeah.
Year's Eve. You were baking like one that those things looked so good I wanted to eat them through the screen.
Oh, yes, you were on that one. I love
I was like, "Give me." And then dude, I got so zoned in too. You were like sharing all your shows and I was like, "What are we like oh, okay, I need to watch that one. I need to."
Oh my gosh, I love that you were on there. Did you say hi? I'm like, I try and read the comments as much as I can,
I
but always
think,
say hi
yeah,
to me.
I'm pretty sure I did, but you were
Okay.
like, this was you. And then at one point, I wanted to be like, Allison, hey, whoa, girl, you had zoomed in on the TV, and then you turned the camera like this, and
Am
it was
I
like your eyeball. I was like, Allison.
that's why so those are like all my lives, by the way. You guys, I go live almost every day. Okay. It's not like no rhyme or reason of what time, but make sure you turn your notifications on my page because I literally go live almost every day and I talk about a lot of different things.
They're
That
pretty
day,
funny. It was
oh
very
yeah.
funny.
And there's reasons why though I don't repost them on my page. Like I don't repost a lot of my lives because my lives are literally like a reality show. Like I'm just like I'm either
No,
baking, I'm
literally.
going to show you baking, or I'm going to show you what I'm watching on TV. I'm going to show you what I'm doing while I'm getting ready for,
She
yoga
gave
versus a
us
date.
a whole like Netflix rundown.
Yes. That's gonna be like I was thinking of like I should start like a new like YouTube channel or like podcast just about TV because
You
the
should.
stuff
No,
I know
you're
about
so
TV.
educated. No, literally. You're like my mom. My mom too. She's the same. You and my mom, when you were talking that way, I'm like, if anytime I want a good TV show, I ask my mom, like, hey, what's the latest? And she does
Um
a full breakdown just like you did. And you like hit all the facts too. You were like, in this one, you get a little bit of this. Guys, here's the top 10 of 2025. Why do you guys not know the top 10 of 2025?
Oh, yeah,
I
I
was
was quizzing people on that. I was like, "Come on."
like,
Oh my gosh, me and your mom would totally, like,
yeah, y'all
watch
would.
shows
Y'all
together.
would.
That is so funny. Oh my god, I'm so happy you're joining. Yes, well, stay tuned because there's gonna be a lot more chaos coming up. But so that's probably why a lot of people have been asking so much more about, like, my dating because I have been talking a lot about it more. I've been
Yeah.
sharing a lot more about, um my personal life as far as that goes, because I've been working a lot with women in midlife that are single and kind of helping them through some of these hard, difficult moments when it comes to love or dating or just midlife grief, all of that. So, someone asked me how I cope with anxiety around dating when it's also like layered with a lot of other things in midlife. So, a lot of times, like your body changes I will say that when you reach 40, only because that's what I've been hearing a lot, is like your body really starts changing in a different way. You start having, different, like I said, a relationship with grief that's different because your parents are getting older. There's people that either you're losing your parents, or people are losing people they love, and it kind of just starts hitting you that, about your own mortality and all this stuff. And then there's also sort of this pressure of starting over. So a lot of people are wondering how I handle like all of that along with like dating, and how I find hope in that process. And the truth is that was just like basically a long version of who asked me that. And the bottom line is like I do not make my dating life my identity. So it might look like that on a Instagram because I talk about it a lot, but it's not the only thing I talk about on the gram. Of course, like I started my whole brand talking about how I have anxiety disorder,
I
and
think you're just authentic. I think you share
yeah.
it very authentically, kind of like with the flow of life, but to me, you don't come off obsessed at all.
Oh, thank you. Okay. So and then maybe it's some trolls because
Yes.
I I that's a huge piece of what I do is sharing my life and actually what I'm going through, and actually either, what I'm reacting to, because a lot of my anxiety in the last couple of years has been about turning 40 and like getting to a midlife age where I feel so many things are changing at once. There's so many more doctor's appointments you have to go to, like the people you love are actually like your parents, and people you love are getting older, and they're starting to change a little bit, and it's hard to see. Um, my body really has changed, and how I have to kind of what nutrition I have in my body, what supplements I should take, what different types of workouts and exercise I need to do are different. Like my physical body is different, not in a bad way. I don't want to talk bad about it, but like I can tell my face is kind of different. There's just so many changes that happen. And then also, perimenopause and all this hormonal stuff. But along with that, it's like now I'm also still navigating dating and finding love. A lot of women my age are kind of settled down in their marriages and their moms, and that's just not a worry of theirs right now in this second. They have other worries, but right now those friends of mine and women I know are not worried about going out and dating or the apps, right? And so it's another layer, and it's something that I just remind myself every day. It's not my identity. Like trying to find love is something that I think is just I'm working on whenever I find until I find it. And I hope I do one day, but I'm also not pressuring myself to fit into a box of what my life should be like based on other people's judgments. And I think that's why I love the single sister circle, because all of us are such like a family together in this community. And the whole community has nothing to do with just like being single and how that's the best thing ever, because it is about finding your passion while you're a single woman, but it's also about like learning about dating and learning about maybe some limitations we have on dating. And a lot of women that struggle with an anxious like personality, maybe I'll say, or just like whether you're diagnosed or not, struggle with more of an anxious attachment style or an insecure attachment style. And so navigating through, getting ghosted, and there's a different pool of men now for women in their 40s and 50s and 60s, where all of those men grew up at a time when there wasn't the apps, right? And so did we. And so women, I think what I'm learning is we have a lot of expectations around like the way we want to be treated with men and being courted. And I think there's just men have never had to men that have never had to not work at getting a relationship, and they literally don't have to work at, like, a lot of men do not need to work at it right now. They just
Mhm.
don't. They have a lot of selection, and women too. We have a lot of selection now, but men primarily, you don't need to settle down. Like it's not hard. Like, you used to have to go and find someone's phone number, write it down, call them a few
Yeah.
times, say, I wanna take you out on a date, meet me here," and if they said no, you had to try again. I mean, it is so different. So, navigating through, like, the acceptance that dating is different now, and there's this, like, dichotomy of me remembering what it was like before apps and before it was so easy, and I want that, but I don't know, there might be an acceptance of me not finding it, and I'm starting to accept that it might be my life, and I have been, and that's helped too. But really, community is huge. Um, community, 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 surrounding yourself with other women you align with and who you really feel like understand you. Listen, I have some friends that are married that still understand me too. So I hang out with some women that just understand what I'm going through, and they can put themselves in my shoes even if they are married. So I have those types of friends too. It doesn't have to be just single women, but just try and not let it define you is my point. But that was
Yeah.
kind of long-winded.
No, that was good. And yeah, I think you are dealing with trolls when they say you're obsessed.
Yes.
Because I think you're building a really awesome community and it's
Oh,
probably
thank
needed.
you.
Okay, next question. What's the difference between personal growth and constantly trying to improve yourself because you feel broken? This is something I'm actually working on in therapy right now because with OCD, there's a lot of self blame, self criticism, and a very big lack of self-compassion, which actually makes the cycle of it all even worse. And so for a long time, I was doing personal work because I was trying to escape myself, fix myself, whatever you want to call it. But instead of like, I need to fix this, I can't feel like this anymore, something is wrong with me, that kind of growth is almost affirming the OCD thoughts and the OCD cycle. Like you're a broken person who needs fixing, and that's not making a good relationship with your brain or your thoughts. And so it now sounds more of like curiosity rather than criticism. So, like, what would support me right now? What am I learning about myself? How can I meet myself with more compassion? And that's actually work I've never really done. And I notice that when I'm growing from a grounded place, there's no panic behind it. I'm not needing this instant fix or instant change. I'm just becoming more honest and more connected with myself and checking in with myself, not because I hate how I feel, but because I care about myself. And that distinction has saved me from turning healing into another pressure point and another, like, I gotta get this done. I'm broken. How I am right now just can't be enough as it is. Even with the anxious thoughts, even with the OCD, even with it, I can be okay with that. And so, practicing self compassion and doing that is really helping me in the long-term personal growth rather than just trying to heal myself because I'm quote unquote broken.
I love that. Yeah. I was just gonna kind of piggyback on, you know, when if you're someone who's trying to improve yourself because you feel broken, that's already sort of like a limiting belief or like narrative that you have in your mind that you are broken because you're going through something. And so I think it's really important to kind of recognize what what is that narrative serving for you, and how heavy is it in your brain, and is it something that stays there a lot during the days? Does it like become heavier or louder in some parts of your life or in other parts of your life? Because if you're someone who's just working on personal growth, then you wouldn't necessarily describe yourself as broken,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
If you're ever looking at yourself in a broken lens, I just feel like you're not even accepting yourself that even if today nothing about my mental health gets better and this is who I am, if I'm viewing that as a broken person, how can I ever find peace?
mhm,
So,
yeah,
like, rather than looking at it like there's a problem, why not look at it like, hey, like OCD is tough and a lot of the thoughts are tough, but there's like beauty in it too. There's beautiful things about my personality that make me very different from other people. And practicing that self compassion self-compassion is such a huge part of personal growth that we don't really focus on. When we think of personal growth, we're like grind, push, grow. Like, all these things come to mind when you think about someone practicing personal growth. And it's like, what about giving yourself some grace,
Yeah.
forgiveness?
The self-love, self-compassion, like inner child work, all of that kind of goes hand in hand with each other. Um, Probably one of the main treatments that I prioritize with my clients.
Yeah.
Through all of the cognitive rewiring and restructuring and the cognitive behavioral therapy, it is literally at the core. It's so important to do literally every day, for the rest of your
Yeah.
life, to give
Yeah.
yourself that. It is. Um, so that actually goes into a little bit of my next question, because someone had asked, how can someone tell the difference between kind of like everyday worry, or like they said normal anxiety, but I don't like that word, but everyday worry or anxiety versus, a debilitating type of anxiety or OCD, and having that take over. And um it can be hard sometimes to know if you're definitely kind of just starting this process of starting to be aware that something really is, you're ruminating a lot, or you're not, maybe you don't have a lot of education yet about different anxiety disorders or OCD. And so it's a very common question. Okay. So I want you to think about it this way. Okay. Everyday worry sort of like moves along and resolves itself pretty quickly, and anxiety and OCD just like loop and loop and loop. And if you keep like seeking reassurance over and over, and then you notice like certain compulsions too. So, like, I don't know if you're checking things, you're doing checking behaviors, or like if you have like health anxiety, if you're checking your body, or you're like Googling your symptoms a lot, you're replaying conversations, you're feeling like you can't even find any kind of like rest or regulation until you're like 1,000% sure something isn't, that can be indicative of more of like a diagnosable disorder. Um, you want to really try and pay attention also to your lifestyle. Like, are these behaviors or ruminating thoughts or intrusive thoughts affecting your everyday life?
Yeah.
Like, are you not able to sleep? Are you not able to go to work? Are you not able to eat? Are your relationships being affected by it? Um, all of those things are. Sorry, my dog just like tripped over the wire. Can you still see me?
Yeah.
Go ahead, honey. All of those things, it's kind of like the perfect storm. And
Yeah.
so the more you can become aware of that, then, and also, seek help. Seek help from a professional, and try and see if there's someone who can help move you through and get a treatment plan going for you if you feel like that's you.
Yeah. I like what you said. Like, I feel when mine's at its worst is when, say you have this list of tasks you need to get done today, and an OCD loop starts happening in your brain. You'll look at the next day and realize once that started yesterday, you didn't get done anything you needed to get done because you were living in that compulsion, which a compulsion can literally even just be thinking, and you were unable to continue life. And when you're finding that you're unable to even continue your day, that's when it's like, okay, like you said, like you can feel anxious about something, but okay, for you, for example, you were very anxious about that appointment, right? But you went to
Yep.
the appointment and you did it. And
Yeah.
so the emotions do this, right?
Yep.
But for someone who's really looping on it, they might be unable to even go to that appointment, maybe unable to even call the place to make the appointment, knowing they need the appointment.
Well, yeah, and I was thinking of like, what would it look like, right? Okay, so I have like a generalized anxiety, but this was such a great test for me, because this all has been happening over, and that whole thing happened over a month time. And like, if it was me 10 years ago, I would have literally been probably in a depressive spiral, living with my
Mhm.
mom for 2 weeks, like thinking I was dying. And I have learned that I c I allow myself, if I am gonna worry, I allow myself, like, 20 minutes a day to worry. I literally set a timer, and I'm like, "Good. Do whatever you want for this 20 minutes. Think about the worst thing you want, write some things down you're really scared of, whatever you want," and then I just, like, stop at the timer, I stop it. So, I did a really, really good job of compartmentalizing that, during those times that felt uncertain until, like, the day of. Then I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so scared." But, like, I even was okay. I did that the mornings of the appointments, I moved my body because it's really important to move your body and get that energy, like, in a different environment, and so I did that, and I did some breath work, and I realized that whatever my brain thinks right now that it's trying to tell me is gonna happen, I still have no idea. Like, I still have no idea. Like, I literally it could be this worst thing. It could literally me be what happened, getting out to the parking lot and I'm okay. Like, and but literally it is so hard to convince your brain of that when it's so overactive. You just have to continuously keep telling yourself that you're safe because right now you are. And also I kept saying like I will handle whatever it is. I know I will handle it. I will handle the next step. I will handle the next step. So but what it would have looked like if I was in a spiral, I would have been in a depression spiral. I would have Googled literally all day, every day. I would have made sure um, I would have made sure I reviewed my results and probably went on the portal like so many times. I probably would have tried to contact a million doctors to tell me the exact answer of what those things meant. I don't even know there were things in my report. I didn't know what they meant. Like a lot of those type of checking behaviors that would have really sent me into a spiral. And so, I'm proud of myself, but there's a lot of you listening and watching maybe that aren't sure how to get to that place. It takes a lot of hard work. It's really hard work and sometimes medication, okay? Gonna say it. Like sometimes medication is really great for a lot of people when there's just a little bit too much of the thoughts that you need a little bit of help to kind of quiet them down. So, as long as it's managed appropriately, medication's amazing. Um, so yeah, just get some support if you feel like you need it and it's interfering with your daily life.
Yes, 100%. And if you're somebody who feels like it is your daily life, this next question is probably for you. How do you rebuild trust in your body after a year of anxiety symptoms and setbacks? And this is like all the work I've been doing. Like therapy has been so, I've been having these moments, and I feel like if you're in therapy, you know what I'm talking about, where you have these sessions where you're just like, your mind's like mind blowing every time you're discovering something about yourself. And so, right now, your nervous system probably doesn't believe you anyways about anything because you've had a year of just constant nervous system dysregulation. And so for me personally, rebuilding trust with myself was more about experience and not reassurance because I think I did the reassurance thing for so long. And yes, reassurance in the short term feels good, but in the long term, it's making the whole OCD, health anxiety spiral that I was on worse. And it was just fueling the fire that every time I partook in some reassurance, I was validating the false alarm in my brain that the danger was real. And I'm so glad that we got to it in time. So my body lost trust before because it learned symptoms mean danger. So trust comes back when I show it again and again that symptoms don't equal emergencies. And that means feeling a sensation and not immediately fixing it. I know Allison has said before, you can feel a sensation, even setting a 5-minute timer and delaying the reaction to it. You are showing your brain that you're canceling out that reassurance part. And so letting discomfort be there without panicking, continuing my day even when I feel off. And that is something I used to not do. So if I would feel a symptom or a sensation, like I said in Allison's last question, the rest of the day's activities were kind of off the books. It wasn't that I felt like it was debilitating, but it was just that I felt like it was the only focus in my brain. And so that little motivation shift of like, hey, these are a few things I have to get done on my schedule today. Yes, I feel uncomfortable. This is not dangerous. It is very uncomfortable. I'm going to continue my task even though. And that is kind of in the realm of like ERP therapy. If you're doing any of that, you would learn about that. But you also have to stop when you do something like that, like ERP or pushing through a symptom and thinking that, okay, my brain's rewired. I'm not going to feel it again. And it's like, no, trust isn't built overnight. So it's like the same way in relationships when you lose trust with somebody or you feel uncertain about things when somebody hurts you through consistency and actions and those type of things, you build the trust back. So time, right? And every time I don't check, and every time I don't Google, and every time I don't cancel a plan because of the sensation, and every time I say, I have felt this before and I'm still here, those moments stack up in your brain. And slowly your brain starts to rewire, and slowly your body starts to trust itself again. But it's not a body that's never going to feel anxiety again. It's not a body that's never going to feel symptoms again, because you will. And so it's all about how you react to it and the changes you make in that area. This is a
Yeah.
lot of work I've been doing lately. So I'm like in my own little world right now.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. That's great. I mean, and that's the thing. That's what happens when you do the work is that you actually start believing that it works,
Right.
right? Like,
Right.
and it's hard. It's really
It's
hard. And
really
so,
hard. I don't want to like dismiss that from anybody who's like, you're making it sound so easy. I feel a sensation and I just skip. And it's like, no, you feel a sensation and you feel really freaking uncomfortable, like
mhm,
really freaking uncomfortable. And you kind of want to Google and you kind of want to check your heart rate, but you don't.
yeah.
And that's
And
hard. That's putting trust in yourself.
right. And to go back to the other question, like trusting yourself, whether it's with your body or trusting yourself with relationships or trusting yourself with, your own wellness plan or trusting your own mind or whatever goes back to compassion. Like you have to give yourself some compassion, knowing that, maybe there's some symptoms that are coming up again that you haven't felt in a while. Um, I don't even like to use the word setback, but like, maybe there's some adversity in life that
Hmm.
has kind of, you know, perpetuated some symptoms that have been dormant or something, or maybe there's some traumas that are coming up for you. Um, None of that is your fault, right?
Hmm.
This is just experiences that have happened in life that are going to trigger, that word too, buzzword, but really they are those
Yeah.
experiences. They trigger certain thoughts again, intrusive thoughts. They trigger memories of different experiences that have been really difficult, and that could be what's happening. So, like, that's not your fault.
Hmm.
That just is giving you, if you were sort of like an investigator, it's giving you clues as to what maybe you need to focus on right now in your life. And maybe it's more of, okay, maybe I do need to focus a little bit more on my mental health and well being right now more than I was. And that's okay. Right? I need to give myself some compassion for that. Maybe I need to say no to a couple things that I was planning
Take
on or whatever. Maybe,
inventory.
yeah, maybe there's some people I need to kind of like set boundaries with right now and focus on this
Yeah.
instead. Like, that's healthy. That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
actually what you need to do, you know?
Yeah. I like how you said too, it's not a setback, because in life we're always going to feel something again, right? We're going to.
Exactly.
It's not about
Exactly.
pretending it's never going to happen again and you're never going to feel it again. You're going to feel something one day. So it's all about, when I feel that way, what road do I take? How do I look at myself? How do I speak to myself? And doing that
Yeah.
kind of work.
I mean, if anything, sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but as you get older, life does get a little challenging as far as handling certain life adversity. Not that it gets harder. There's a lot of people that would say life gets easier, and maybe it does in some aspects, but it does get more challenging as far as relationships go, and like seeing, and you get older and you see other people get older, right? And health things happen. Like it just gets a little challenging in that way. So just be patient with yourself. And again, compassion, compassion. That's all I'll keep saying.
Yes.
All right.
The word of 2026, compassion.
Right? I'm going to make it. All right. Well, you know what I haven't done in a while, actually?
A healing
A
tip?
healing tip of the week. And I'm sure you're all like, yeah, what happened to that, Allie? Healing tip of the week. Well, you know what, guys? I don't know. I
Life.
forgot. I forgot. Life happened. I forgot. But I'm going to bring you one today. Okay. And can you guys guess what it is? Do you want to try and guess what I'm going to say, Taylor? What do you think it's about?
Compassion.
Yes. It is going to be about compassion. Okay. I want you I want you this week to try and think of three ways you can be more compassionate with yourself, but also think about ways you can talk to yourself in a more compassionate way. Okay? So think of like the most loving thing you would say to either your child or your partner or your loved one, whatever loving thing you would say to them if they were feeling scared or feeling really sad about themselves or really hard on themselves. Like, what would you say to them in a compassionate way? And I want you to write that down, and I want you to literally write it down over and over again. And I want you to put it somewhere you can see it. And I want you to say it out loud to yourself every single day. Okay? That's what I'm
I
going to
love
say.
that.
Want you to do that. That is my healing tip of the week. And you know what? I'm going to try and bring it back. I'm going to try and remember. Might not be every single time, but
Hey, but back to what we said.
2026.
No, back to what we said though. It's a intention to bring it back,
Yes.
but we're not making it a rule, and it's
It
okay
is
if we
my
fail.
intention, and I'm gonna try and remember every time, okay? Got you? Got you. Okay. All right, I will talk to all of you later, Taylor. It was so good to catch up with you
Yes.
again, and we will see you all next week for another new episode. I love y'all.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today.
We hope this episode reminded you that you're not alone and healing is always possible.
If something we shared helped you, the best way to support the show is to leave a review or share this episode with a friend who needs it.
And make sure you're following us on Instagram at The Anxiety Chicks for more support between episodes.
We're just two chicks on our own healing journeys, cheering you on every step of the way.
Until next time.
Take a deep breath. You've got this.